people who say, oh, but you're harming a life. I believe this is life. Well, some religions don't.
AOC, I kind of agree with you, but not fully. Okay, friends, welcome to The Perspective. You are here with Pastor James. I'm going to share this video with you now from Twitter, where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez kind of gave a perspective on religion and abortion, showing that it is somewhat authoritarian for Christian of this country to say that you cannot have an abortion, where other religions seems to give affirmation to that practice in itself in their theology. Now, we can say much more about that. I'm going to let you listen to this video, and then I'll come back and give you my detailed analysis, my final perspective on that. So let's take a listen to the argument, and then we're going to address it together.
For people who say, oh, but you're harming a life. I believe this is life. Well, some religions don't. So how about that? Our Jewish brothers and sisters, they are able to have an abortion according to their faith. You know, there are so many faiths that do not have the same definition of life as fundamentalist Christians. And so what about their rights? What about their right to exercise their faith? It's ridiculous. And it is theocratic. It's authoritarian. It is wrong.
Okay, I see where she's coming from, though. Fact, there are other religions who do allow abortion to be part of their practice. Okay, that is actually a fact. Now, there are hundreds of other religions in the world, but for the vast majority of the main religions in the world, such as Sikhism, Buddhist, Christianity, and Muslim, for the vast majority of them are totally against that. But there are some who do prescribe to this practice. Okay, she's right about that. The other thing that she mentioned is that it is theocratic or authoritarian for us to say you cannot abort a child in the United States of America. Before I address that, I want to say one thing. She is again correct on another point. This stands against abortion. Okay, as we see it being done today, it is a Christian fundamentalist movement. Now, there is nothing wrong with Christian fundamentalist. Some people like to make it look like it's a bad thing. That simply means Christians who really take the Bible seriously. Okay, so that's really what a Christian fundamentalist is. In essence, I'm kind of one of those, if you will describe me based on that those characteristics. So anyway, now, the fact is, it is a Christian fundamentalist movement, and the Christian theology and the Christian teaching does stand against not just atheists. We also rise against other religious practices. You also got to keep that in mind. So when you're trying to put Christianity among all the other religions in the world, although you can from a religious standpoint, but from a theological standpoint, it is not correct, because Christianity has a stance on its own. The reason for that is because the Christian God is the true God. I don't need to make apologies for it. It's just a fact. And the reason for that, the law that is part of the fabric of our Constitution today, enshrined at the heart of our Constitution, are Christians' laws. Yes, they are. Yes, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, those amendments that we cherish, right? The freedom of speech, these are Christians' theology. These are Christian concepts that we practice and enjoy. So part of the reason why abortion can never be something Christian will prescribe to, at least real and honest biblical fundamentalist Christians, we can never prescribe to it, is because it is a violation of the law of God. When you're looking at the context in which the foundation, the morale of our society, the Christian 10 commandments, right? God having the authority. That in itself is something you can't escape, because it is God who say thou shalt not kill. So these values, you can't get away from them. Now, the big question is, when is it even okay to kill anyone? When is it okay to abort a child? Before birth or after birth? When is a child to be considered a child? You see, these are the big questions we have to answer here, because I don't think it's very difficult to tell at the moment of conception, when the sperm and the eggs literally combine, we have a baby. And as long as there is life in that little thing, let's give it value and respect. And talking about is human right or mother's right or woman's right. What about the baby's right? The baby also have a right to live. If it's wrong to kill the child after he is born, it's also wrong to kill him before he is born, depending on some circumstances. And I think there should be better ways to deal with parents who are going through that phase, who are thinking about abortion. I believe there are some things we can better work on, rather than to say, let's just get rid of the child in the name of my freedom. But again, going back to what AOC said here, I kind of agree with her argument about religions being, some religions feeling the way they do, how we have to make room for allow others to practice what they practice. But the thing is, remember, freedom of religion and freedom of conscience in this country does not give you the freedom to murder, to kill. You have the right to worship your God. You have the right to practice your faith. But your faith, if your faith is immoral, if your practice is inhumane, if it steps on the rights of somebody else to the point of violence, that doesn't give you the right to do that in a free democratic society. So you need to keep that in mind as well. And I think she's kind of combining, she's making a stew here, but you can't make a stew when it comes to the life of young children. You can't do that, because we're dealing with human beings, okay? Not clumps of cell. We're dealing with human beings that has value and purpose in the eyes of God. Yes, you may not want to have a baby. Well, you need to think about that before the baby comes. You need to think about your actions prior to that. And if you happen to be pregnant and thinking about abortion, there are other helps out there. You need to look for help and find better options and figure it out. I think our society is going crazy, and I can understand the arguments, but ultimately, from the point of biblical understanding, morality, okay, just being human being, okay, abortion is wrong, and it needs to be called for that. And I think if you think it is okay, maybe you really need to take a look at yourself and check to see where you stand morally and how God sees things, and you will understand the seriousness of this crime. But anyway, I want to end on this note right here. I gotta go spend some time with my children. I'm so glad they were not aborted. Praise God for it, because I get to spend time with them, hold them, and play with them. So anyway, God bless you. Until next time, give me your perspective below. I want to hear what you are thinking. We can make this a political discussion. It's not so much a political discussion for me. It's just common sense. Until next time, God bless you and have a good one. And as always, remember to look unto Jesus and to live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.